Hello, our video for today is about getting started prerequisites on becoming a Java developer. Let's start this course by going through the requirements that we will need to do Java programming, as well as the resources, tools, websites, and third-party services that we will need as we go along the path of becoming a Java developer. Computer specs. Java programming for beginner does not really need a high-specs computer. In fact, I started with an Intel Celeron 333 with only 32 megabytes of RAM back when I was in college. Can you imagine that? At the very least, I would suggest that you get a decent i3 processor with 8 GB of RAM and at least 128 gigabytes of SSD. Yes, SSD. It's expensive, but it's a big factor in increasing the overall performance of our machine, from compiling to running our application on top of JVM. JDK or Java Development Kit. We will use, download, and configure the OpenJDK version 1.8 in the next video. The IDEs for Java development. There are many more, but these are the ones that I would recommend and the ones that are most widely popular. Eclipse. It's totally free with a lot of freely available plugins. It's available in the URL eclipse.org. It has 118,300 questions in Stack Overflow compared to, for example, IntelliJ, which has around 65,000 results in Stack Overflow. Yes, going to the next one, IntelliJ, it has a commercial license, but it has a community edition. Now, if we will look at this link, we will see the comparison between the Ultimate and the Community Edition. And as we can see, there are a lot of features that are missing in the free edition or Community Edition. And if you don't have the budget to buy a license of the IntelliJ, so it's around $500 for the first year. So you would opt to choose the Eclipse version. And then we have other available IDEs. We have Spring STS. It's a customized Eclipse IDE for Spring development. And Visual Studio Code. This one is from Microsoft. This is the most lightweight in the group and pretty popular lately, not just in the Java community but also in front-end development as well, such as HTML, Angular, and React. It has a lot of freely available plugins. And to install Visual Studio, just click this link. It's code.visualstudio.com. And download and install a Visual Studio from this URL. Now, to get a glimpse on how each of these IDE looks like, I can show you Eclipse. It looks like this. I'm using the Darkula theme, so it's dark. You can choose the light theme if you want. And then we have the IntelliJ. This one is IntelliJ. This one is Spring STS. And this one is the Visual Studio Code. Now, I know you're wondering what are the differences for each of the IDEs and which one is good to use. Right now, I will advise you to either try at least the Eclipse or Visual Studio Code. Like I said, Visual Studio Code is the lightest in the group. So you might want to start with Visual Studio Code, especially if you don't have a powerful computer. Because this one is lightweight, doesn't consume that much RAM and CPU processing. Then going on to the next topic, this is about the project and ticket management. To help you plan and execute your day-to-day task and possibly manage your project in the near future, I'm sharing two tools that I normally use for ticket or project management. Number 1 is Trello for personal planning. It's a Kanban-style list-making application. Kanban is primarily concerned with process improvements, and here we can see the pricing. Actually, there is a free version that we can use to try it out. And this is how I use it. I have a list of things to do under the to-do column, and then I have the priority list and what I'm doing. And done. Or we can add here a test column if you wanted to test a certain activity or task. But again, I use this for day-to-day personal task. And then we have Git Scrum. It's a project management tool for agile teams. Scrum is concerned in getting more work done faster. And unfortunately, it's not free for commercial use, but it's free for personal use. So you can try it out for your open source or maybe personal project in your work or project in your school. But there is a limitation. You can only add up to 3 users. And this is how it looks like. This is a project created in Git Scrum. If you are not yet familiar with how Scrum works, please bear with me for now. I will just explain the basic functionality of this website. Basically, we have a user story. A user story is a sort of event or action that must take place. It has a requirement and it has a conclusion that we can measure whether it's success or a failure. For example, this one, a bookseller should be able to upload books, information, and images so that he or she can sell it to the marketplace. From this user story, we can tell that we need a role bookseller, and then that role, a user of that role should be able to log in and should be able to upload books so that he can sell it to the marketplace. And then from that user story, we can define tickets or tasks that we can assign to developers, like this one. A bookseller should be able to log in to the system. And then a bookseller should be able to upload books and images and that he or she can sell it to the marketplace. And then we can have different columns here. This one is the to do, or before this we can have the backlog, to do, in progress. We can add a column test here, and then finally when a ticket is tested, we can put that ticket into the done column and finally into the archive. It actually depends on the project management strategy of your team. So I'm just going through the summary of what these tools can do and how you can at least, or why you should at least try it out for your next project. And then I'm sharing some developer tools that you can use. First is Dropbox. It's a file hosting service that offers cloud storage and file synchronization. It has a mobile app. So to sign up, just click this link and sign in using your existing or valid email address. Now, once you have Dropbox installed, you then need to download the Dropbox desktop version. That desktop version will synchronize the file in your Dropbox remote storage. So for example, I have this Dropbox. Once you installed it, you will have this Dropbox folder. By default, it will be installed in your C drive. I recommend, if you have a D drive for documents or backup, that you sync the Dropbox folder in that drive. Now let's try using it. For example, I have a public folder here. Then I created, let's say, a file, and let's name it secret. So I created a new file, secret, under the public folder inside the Dropbox folder. Now, once I log in to my Dropbox account in online, I should be able to see that file. And here is that file, the secret file, which was created 30 seconds ago. Now, if you have another computer, you can install the Dropbox. For example, you have two computers, computer A and computer B. Now, if you create a file in computer A, it will be synchronized in computer B. If you also have the Dropbox desktop application on that computer. Now, what if we remove this file in the online Dropbox, or let's say in computer B? What will happen is that it will trigger a delete. Yeah, so we have you deleted secret.txt. Now it's gone in our local Dropbox public folder. So yeah, when you delete a file in one of your Dropbox installation, it will fire an event and it will replicate or echo the action in the other machines where you have Dropbox installed using the same account. Of course, it will not synchronize if you have a different account running on another machine. And then next we have Google Docs. It's a web-based application in which Office documents can be created, edited, and stored. It also has a mobile app. Now, this document that you are seeing in this screen is actually a PowerPoint document I created inside Google Docs. And the advantage, actually, what did they call it? It's called Google Slides. So what is the advantage? Well, you can have it anywhere you go as long as you have an internet. You don't need to install anything. It's a browser-based online application. And it's not limited to presentation. You can also have a Google Sheets, which is equivalent to PowerPoint, and then Google Docs, which is basically Microsoft Word. And then, yeah, you have forms, drawings, sites, Jamboard. I advise that you at least try each of this one, so you have you have an idea what each of this application does. So in the future, if you have a requirements that fits on this one, then you can take advantage of them. And then we have Notepad++. It's a text and source code editor for Windows users, and it's downloadable in this URL. It basically looks like this. Yep, basically it's a text editor. I use this for immediate copy and paste requirement. So you can, if you have a source code or a scratch, you can use Notepad++, and it's a decent tool to open any file, any text file, or you can right click on any file and open it in Notepad++, and it's also lightweight. Next is MOVA Xterm. It's a toolbox for remote computing, and it offers Unix commands to Windows users. It's downloadable in this URL. Now, I don't think you will be using it in the near future, but I suggest you take note of it, because definitely if you go to the programmer's route, Java, Unix deployment to a remote machine, you will definitely use this tool, and I found it really helpful. Now, this is how it looks like. I have two machines. This one, let's say the host name of this machine is Alexander. This is where I'm doing this demonstration. And then I have another tab here. Its host name is CarbonCal, meaning it's another computer on my network which I'm accessing using this MOVA Xterm tool. Now, if you have let's say in the future you will deploy in Amazon or in Google, in Azure, Microsoft Azure, or any third-party ES or platform as a service provider, you will definitely need a tool to log in via SSH. And I suggest you try this tool. And in addition to that, it offers a Unix environment, Unix mini environment in your Windows machine where you can execute Unix-like commands like ls, grep, and more. Again, if you are not yet familiar with what I'm talking about, feel free to add a comment in this video and I will try my best to help you guide on how to start on these things or fill the knowledge gap. And then I'm also suggesting that you download ExamTip. It's a visual utility for comparing two files or folders, which you can get here. Now let's try ExamTip. Okay, ExamTip. And let's say we have two files, file 1 and file 2. Let's assume that they contain complicated text, and if we want to compare them, we can use this tool. So here we have file 1 and file 2 are identical. If we look at the files, they both contain hello world, and yes, they are identical. Now let's compare two files that are not identical. So it's really helpful because you will get a highlight of the differences between the two files. So again, if you think that you will not use it yet, just add it in your to download list, and I'm sure that you will definitely use it later on. And then we have AgentRuns. It's a search tool for finding files in your local computer or network, and it's available for download under this URL. What I like about this tool is its search faster than the Windows search, and you can search via the text contained in files. For example, I'm searching for secret. Now it will return a result, file 3, and the secret word is found in line 3. So if we look at that file, we can see, yes, it contains a secret word on line 3. And this is the where to get help list. Number 1 is the stackoverflow.com. If you're a developer, you should know this website. It's a question and answer site for professionals. It's without a doubt the most popular. Now let's take a look at Stack Overflow. This is how it looks like, and before you ask anything, make sure to do a search first on the website. For example, if we are searching for Java Fibonacci, let's say algorithm, there's a lot of results already, so there's no need to add or to ask an additional question because there's a lot of answers already. And then we have github.com. It provides code hosting for software development version using Git. Actual codes can be searched here. And let's try github.com. And then let's search for, what did we search earlier? Java Fibonacci. Yep, and there are around 500 results. So these are actual codes. Most are, I'm sure, tested. And they have several variations of implementations. So it's a good thing to always look at GitHub on how a certain algorithm is implemented, compare the runtime, compare the implementation, the complexity, so that maybe you can implement an improved version. And then we have Jobatpoint.com and geeks4geeks.org, tutorialspoint.com. Now these three websites contains a lot of Java tutorials and source codes. How to use them? How to search within them? For example, Jobatpoint, you can use Google. Just add the website Jobatpoint Fibonacci series, and you should come up with this link, which has a Fibonacci Java code. Yep, this is the Fibonacci. It's not the recursive implementation, so I don't like this one. So maybe let's search for the next one, Geeks4Geeks. Again, type the website Geeks4Geeks Java Fibonacci, and we should come up with this website. This one is, let's see the one in Java. So this one is in recursive form. So we have the Fibonacci method here that returns the Fibonacci of a given number. Now, what is Fibonacci? In case you don't know, this is in Fibonacci series. Next number is the sum of previous two numbers. For example, 0, 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3, and so on. Now, before, maybe you might want to program this, to code this, before looking at the source code. So let's do that as an exercise. Okay, it seems like this is the final slide. For conclusion, that's it for this lecture. I hope this is enough to get you started and feel comfortable in Java development. See you in the next video. Before I end this video, I hope you will like and subscribe to my channel so that when I upload the next video, you will be the first one to get notified. Again, thank you for watching and goodbye for now.